In the busy city of London, we see carriages and noblemen walking around town. An orphan girl named Wisteria begs everyone passing by for some change so that she can feed herself. However, nobody shows her any kindness, and it causes her to panic because a bald priest is looking at her with shady eyes. He turns out to be a fraud who's running a racket by making Wisteria beg on his behalf. He angrily berates the orphan girl for not bringing any money to his table and smashes her meal against the wall to show his frustration. The ungrateful priest walks away, but Wisteria eats the spilled food for nourishment. She is seemingly happy with her life and looks forward to when the clock strikes 12 as she is visited by Marbus, a lion demon. Wisteria is happy to have him by her side and rejoices in his presence. However, the priest shows up and scolds Wisteria for making a ruckus. He clearly can't see Marbus, who goes on to comment on the priest's false sense of humanity. The lion demon thinks back to the time he had to walk around all the humans without getting noticed. He is trapped inside a body that cannot die, so he has to live in isolation for eternity. In a flashback, Marbus spots Wisteria getting rejected by a rude patron passing by. The orphan girl drops her coins, so she recovers them. Much to Marbus' amusement, the lion demon comments on her current state, but Wisteria is able to hear and see him, so she waves at Marbus when she gets dragged away by the priest. This intrigues the lion demon, so he follows the orphan girl to her home and makes a formal introduction. Wisteria asks Marbus to read her a bedtime story, and that's how their unlikely friendship begins. Back to the present, Wisteria asks Marbus to read her another bedtime story because it's the only thing she looks forward to during her day. The lion demon goes on to narrate a story that goes as far as 300 years ago, during the time of the one and only William Shakespeare. However, in the meantime, a lizard demon sneaks up on an assassin named Snow and attacks him. Snow bears a resemblance to Wisteria, as he also has silver hair and blue eyes. He defeats the lizard demon with ease, but then the demon unleashes his tongue and attacks him. Snow is bamboozled at the moment, but then his superior, Takanami, makes a grand entry and saves him by chopping off the demon lizard's tongue. Snow adds the finishing touches by shooting the demon's face off, but refuses to concede his inferiority to Takanami. It turns out that these assassins are Knights of the Sword Cross, who hunt demons. Back to Wisteria, she is excited to hear tales about Shakespeare, but Marbus doesn't think too highly of him. This comes as a surprise to the orphan girl, so she naturally assumes that the lion demon doesn't know what it's like to have friends. Now Marbus shows off his human form, which other people are able to see. Despite this ability, he chooses to remain hidden because he thinks it's too much work to talk to humans. He also wants to avoid drama because the ladies go crazy with their desires upon seeing his wondrous form. Wisteria laughs at his situation and says he has a lot to learn about humans. The lion demon has something to think about and decides to leave for now, but Wisteria makes him a little emotional by saying she treasures her eyes for being able to let her see him. The next day, Wisteria is given some bad news when the priest tells her that he's decided to sell her to a slave aristocrat. It turns out that Wisteria's begging sessions were simply a front for the priest to be able to show her off to the slave traders, and now he finally has a buyer. This is obviously a bad thing for Wisteria, so she tells Marbus about it and also thinks back to her brother, who was taken away from her under similar circumstances. Wisteria begs Marbus to take her away from here, but he says that it's not possible for him to do this. The lion demon says that he needs to perform his services in exchange for something, otherwise his body will turn to dust, as per the demon laws. Wisteria decides it's better to offer her soul to Marbus and hugs him, after which she says that he is the only friend in her life. However, the lion demon says that taking Wisteria's soul will only add to his life, which doesn't matter to him because he's immortal anyway. With no other choice, Wisteria gets sold off as a slave to the aristocrat. Marbus watches her from a distance, but gets distracted when he sees Snow kicking against the church door. Much to the bemusement of Takanami, what bothers him more is the sword cross locket on Snow's neck. Suddenly, the evil priest opens the door and tells the assassins to calm down. That's when Snow confronts the priest about a demon trace he followed till here. Meanwhile, Wisteria meets her new master, who acts nice at first but leads her to a shady room and locks them both inside. Snow gets rough with the priest and beats him up, after which he also threatens to shut down his illegal business. The priest clucks like a chicken and reveals that Wisteria used to talk to herself at night. He mentions that she has silver hair and it makes Snow conscious, confirming that he's indeed her long-lost brother. The priest gleefully mentions that Wisteria's new master loves to torture children, and it infuriates both Snow and Marbus. The lion demon instantly teleports, after which Snow knocks out the priest and tells Takenami he has something to take care of. He also notices Marbus's presence on his demon compass. Now Wisteria tries to fight off her attacker, who reveals the hook on his hand. She desperately tries to run away from the freak, but trips and falls down. Things aren't looking too good for the orphan girl, but that's when Marbus shows up in his human form and offers to buy her from the slave trader. However, he refuses to let go of Wisteria, and Marbus suddenly starts to cough blood. His body slowly disintegrates because of the demon laws, but he still manages to knock away the slave trader with his hair. The lion demon says that he enjoys spending his time with Wisteria as it helped him relieve his boredom. It calls for a nice emotional moment, but then a shadow demon arrives and we learn that the slave trader has made a pact with him. The shadow demon faces off Marbus, who does his best to protect Wisteria. Even though his body starts to crumble, he is eventually slashed and beaten down. After which the shadow demon taunts him for not making a pact with Wisteria. The lion demon is at his wit's end and is about to be defeated by the shadow demon. But then Wisteria makes a pact with him and offers her eyes as payment. The shadow demon unleashes a shadow blast, but Marbus negates it quite easily. Now that he's taken his lion form again, he berates his opponent for being worthless filth, and even the shadow demon acknowledges Marbus as one of the 13 calamities. The lion demon finally gets rid of the worthless vermin by unleashing his ultimate fire blast. With the mansion burning down, our hero carries Wisteria with him and laments that she gave up her eyes just when he had planned to see the world with her. She simply says that they have a pact now, so Marbus will simply have to see things for her. The new duo plans their journey together, and later, Snow and Takenami inspect the slave trader's mansion. They learn about Marbus dropping by to save Wisteria, but Snow loses his cool when the trader talks about his sister in a demeaning way. He angrily punches him and tells Takenami that he will specially take care of the lion demon so that he can rescue Wisteria. Snow attacks a random demon and asks about Marbus, but doesn't get any answers, so he shoots down the beast out of frustration. Now the lion demon helps Wisteria with her sight by giving her a golden cane. His house is shown to be fancy, and he explains that it's because of a pact he'd formed with a rich human ages ago. Since the orphan girl is unable to see, Marbus has to clean the house himself and also has to feed her. Wisteria goes shopping, but tells Marbus to leave her alone because she's shy. She bumps into a guard named Naberius and a princess named Diana. The girls strike a friendship, and then Diana sends Naberius out to pass the time. It turns out that he is also a wolf demon, and he bumps into Marbus, whom he recognizes. We learn that Naberius is also one of the 13 calamities, and then he has a chat with our hero. Later, the girls spot the demons together in their human forms. Naberius mocks Diana's red dress, and then they leave. Now Marbus has to feed Wisteria in a fancy restaurant, but doesn't need any food himself because he's a demon. The orphan girl shares an emotional tale about her past with Snow and convinces the lion demon to finish the meal with her. Wisteria has a great time with Marbus and starts to cry tears of joy. The lion demon wants to reassure her that he won't abandon her, but isn't able to express his feelings properly. Regardless, the orphan girl is happy to be in his care. Later, Marbus thinks back to what Naberius told him. We learned that one of their fellow demons has been killed, so Marbus wonders if this is the work of the Sword Cross. Snow spots the lion demon in his human form and grows suspicious because of his long red hair. He eventually makes an introduction by pointing a gun at Marbus inside a restaurant. The lion demon learns that Snow is Wisteria's brother, so he distracts him with some coffee. He uses this chance to trap Snow's arm, and then he offers to meet him in the forest alone. Marbus starts to feel some emotion as he goes to tell Wisteria that they are leaving his house for now. As expected, Snow follows him here and is shocked to see his sister, who is now blind. Even Wisteria is told that her brother is in front of her, but then Snow shoots a holy bullet at Marbus. It doesn't do any damage, as the lion demon simply throws it away. Snow is shocked to see how close Marbus is to his sister, and tries to reason with her to leave the lion demon. However, she says that she loves both men and will not abandon either one. It only gets trickier when Marbus reveals he's made a pact with Wisteria, because the Sword Cross doesn't spare humans who deal with demons either. With no other option, Snow attacks Marbus but is easily dominated by the lion demon, who blocks his bullets with ease. Snow retreats for a bit, but only to reload his gun with a heart knocker bullet that can kill any demon. He goes for round 2 and tries to taunt Marbus to distract him. The lion demon unleashes an ultimate fire blast, but Snow is able to evade it, and then he shoots him with a heart knocker. However, Wisteria gets in the way, so Marbus saves her life and gets shot instead. Snow is confused to see a demon protecting a human, and then Wisteria explains that she wants to be with Marbus, not because of their pact, but because he was there for her when she was sad and alone. She begs Snow to leave her and Marbus alone, and this prompts him to do as she says. Snow makes the lion demon promise to keep his sister safe, and then he goes to his superiors to give them a fake report. Now, Marbus takes Wisteria away from their current location and has high hopes for his future with her. Meanwhile, we see Diana and Naberius around multiple dead bodies. That's when we learn that they also have a pact together. The end. Like, share, and subscribe for part 2. See you later!